Yo, this is Joyful Wish, and this is part 2 to Egoist Naruto. Last time we left off, we explained Ultra Ego, aka the power of destruction and infinite growth, the Kekkei Genkai of the Uzumaki clan. We changed perspective and learned all about that. But now, we're going back to Naruto's perspective. Naruto was in the midst of battle with the sand demon Gaara when he sent a shockwave and knocked Gaara out of his one tails form, and he called upon power to finish the battle, in which the power, aka the Kekkei Genkai of the Uzumaki clan, awakened. This power had been passed down through all Uzumakis, and all Uzumaki could unlock it, along with Senju. And considering Senju blood ran through Naruto's veins, it would only be proper that he could unlock it easier than most others. As Naruto tapped into this power, his hair went black and then purple, and then his eyes shifted yellow as a purple aura surrounded him. He was using his Kekkei Genkai for the first time, slowly approaching Gaara, reaching his hand out about to touch him, because he was overwhelmed by this sense of destruction, and everything he touched was destroyed. Even the air around him didn't exist. Naruto was adjusting to this. He breathed in air by allowing the air to simply exist and hold back his destruction from that level. He was going to touch Gaara when he heard the voice of Tamari. He turned around to see a panicked Kankuro about to send his puppets at him, and then he looked back to Gaara to see his sister holding him in his arms, begging Naruto to spare his life. Naruto for a second thought about killing both of them just to be done with it, but then he realized he would be no better than the Uchiha. Then Naruto dropped his transformation, falling to one knee. That's when Kankuro struck and sent all of his puppets at him. And just as they were about to touch him, Naruto flared back into his destructive state, destroying Kankuro's chakra strings and his puppets, looking at him with a cold glare, rushing at him, almost about to touch him, when suddenly a wall of fire appeared in front of him. And when Naruto looked over to see where it came from, he seen his ally, Sasuke Uchiha, telling him that he had done enough and that it was time for them to go back to the village and help out the Hokage. Sorry for the cough. It might happen a couple times. I'm a little sick. Let's continue. Naruto looked at Sasuke in an emotionless tone, and then he turned and jumped towards the Leaf Village. And then out of nowhere, he started flying, soaring to it at high speeds. He was there within an instant, and then he was standing before the Sound 4's barrier. He simply touched it and destroyed it. And when he walked through, he seen the third Hokage sealing off Orochimaru's arms, and Orochimaru, seeing that Naruto had unlocked his egoist state at such a young age, thought that maybe the boy had some prowess after all, and with the right amount of guidance, he would become a perfect vessel for him. So Naruto was looking at the third Hokage when his transformation dropped, him being injured from the amount of energy he exhausted just by holding the form for this long. And then Orochimaru struck, biting the boy. And as he bit him, the curse mark appeared on Naruto's neck, and Orochimaru lost his arms. Orochimaru figuring that he could use Naruto's body later to destroy the seal created. Naruto felt the curse mark spread as he activated his egoist state one more time. And as he was about to strike Orochimaru, his body had a complete failure. And he fell through the barrier. And as he did, he killed a couple Saiyan ninja by touching him on his way down. He seen a few of them about to cast some jutsu, so with the remaining of his energy, he destroyed most of them and dispersed the rest of their jutsus. And then he fell in the middle of the arena, unconscious and in pain. The village would have to recognize him for all he had done, considering Anbu had made an official report stating that he had defeated the One-Tails, and all of the civilians were awake when Naruto's presence was made known, and they looked to see that Naruto was coming from the direction the One-Tails was, and it was a blonde-haired figure that struck it down based off of what some of the Jonin and Chunin said. So it was only logical that Naruto defeated the One-Tails. Naruto sat on the ground unconscious for a few days, and when he awoke, he was told that he was being granted the rank of Chunin, along with the fact that he would be going with Jiraiya to find the next Hokage. We're now starting Season 4, aka Hunt for the 5th Hokage, Tsunade Senju, Naruto's grandmother. We're going to do a brief time skip. It's been a week since Naruto was discharged from the hospital. He made a couple errands and realized that Hinata seemed way stronger. And when he questioned her on why, she showed him her Ultra Instinct, paired with her Byakugan, sending the shockwave that almost made Naruto shiver. She had a power stronger than him. He was almost envious. But it didn't matter to him for now. He thought of her as a rival for the future. He had lost all love interest in Sakura Haruno by the time he had first entered his egoist state. One side effect from entering the egoist state is the user could possibly become almost emotionless and only crave for destruction. The only time they feel any sense of emotion is in the rush of battle, when they can quell their lust for destruction. Of course, the Sage of Six Paths had no issue with it because he could suppress all those urges. In that way, he kept his emotions, but Naruto couldn't suppress them, not yet at least. But let's continue. Naruto packed up his things and met with Jiraiya at the gate, and they started on their trip to finding Tsunade. After learning of a few clues, they headed to a town where Jiraiya was led away by a woman while Naruto was sitting in their hotel room. Naruto was relaxing, trying to master his egoist state as he'd learned now how to freely enter it with no difficulty when he heard a knock on the door. When he opened it, he seen two figures with black cloaks with clouds on them. It was Itachi Uchiha and Kisame, the tailless beast. I don't know Kisame's last name, honestly. Sasuke had caught wind of the fact that Itachi was going to attack Naruto and rushed his way in the hopes of getting his revenge. In a hallway stood Naruto with Itachi and Kisame, Kakashi being dealt with by the two way before. Naruto summoned a couple shadow clones and got busy with them. Kisame having a fairly difficult time dispatching of the shadow clones when Naruto asked them something that Madara should only have the boastfulness to say. He asked them, would they like the shadow clones to use the egoist state or not? In which, when they heard this, they were shocked. They didn't know what the egoist state was, but they knew that it was something not to be trifled with, considering how cocky the boy was in with it. But Kisame pecked and said, sure, considering that they're S-rank ninjas and Naruto's only a Chunin, it's only fair we should let them power up. But instead of them seeing Naruto tap into the Nine Tails chakra, they seen the boy's eyes go yellow and then into a deep purple, and his hair turned blue as an aura of purple surrounded him, then being absorbed into the boy's body, bulking him up. Kisame's blade, Samehada, had a taste of this destruction. It harmed it, but Samehada liked it. Samehada loved this taste, actually, so much so that it turned its back on Kisame and went to Naruto. Naruto found it interesting that the blade was alive, but since the blade had a liking to him, he'd keep it. Then Naruto proceeded with his shadow clones, his assault, using Samehada for the first time, cutting down Kisame with ease. And when he felt traces of Kisame within Samehada, he had Samehada eat a bit of his destruction, destroying the last of Kisame permanently. And then he turned and looked at Itachi. He told him that it was interesting, really. He was supposed to be this strong, but not even his jutsus can phase him or Samehada, because Naruto had now cloaked Samehada in his destructive energy, allowing it to reach its second phase, along with giving it its own egoist state. Naruto had gained a liking to Samehada in such a short time. Samehada became a best friend to Naruto. Itachi, feeling concerned, thought it would be best for him to escape, but Naruto told him it was useless considering he was trapped. That's when Itachi tried the Tsukuyomi on Naruto. He trapped him in the Tsukuyomi for only a moment. Itachi thought Naruto would have been traumatized because half a second went by, but for Naruto, he was only inside the Tsukuyomi for a moment. He instantly broke out and rushed to grab Itachi. while in mid-swing with Samehada when suddenly the fight was stopped because Naruto had to stop mid-swing and mid-grab because someone came in between his final slash. It was Sasuke. Sasuke asked that he let him handle Itachi. Naruto, reverting back to his base form and putting Samehada on his back, jumped back and watched the two brothers squabble. In this short fight, Itachi showed Sasuke that he too had the Ultra Instinct. He showed something to Sasuke that Sasuke didn't even know existed. And then Itachi explained that the state he's using is a state he stole from his brother, saying that if he ever wants to take the power that was rightfully his back, he'd have to come kill him for it. Furthermore, angering Sasuke and fueling his hatred, because not only had Itachi stolen his family from him, he'd also stolen his power. A power that originally wasn't even his. But Sasuke didn't know that. But let's continue. Sasuke, fueled by his rage, activated the Chidori and rushed at Itachi. Itachi smirking, knowing that this form could dodge anything, dodging out of the way and making Sasuke create a hole in the wall. And that's when he hit Sasuke with the Tsukuyomi, draining almost all of his chakra. Then Naruto pulled out Samehada, covering it back in his egoist state while charging up some Nine Tails chakra around himself and Samehada, keeping Samehada stable. He pointed it at Itachi and ate the Ultra Instinct off of Itachi. Of course, Itachi kept the state, but he was forced out of it, strengthening Samehada and giving Naruto some chakra to play with. Naruto then summoned two clones, and they rushed at Itachi. Itachi, knowing he was in danger, used Amaterasu on two places, a wall and Naruto, while the Amaterasu burned Naruto's aura for barely a second. That's all Itachi needed as he body flickered out of the building and started dashing away. Naruto, not being a sensory ninja, could not track him, so he gave up on his search. He stood in front of Sasuke when Might Guy threw a kunai at him, spinning and kicking at him. Naruto dodged back, putting Samehada on his back, and looked at Guy, saying, "What was that for?" And an emotionless and cold voice. Guy apologized, saying that he looked like an enemy from far away and he had used his headband to look inside and find out what was going on. But Naruto simply waved him off and continued with his business when Jiraiya appeared. Seeing the destruction of the building, he looked at Naruto, and Naruto explained that while he was off chasing women, Naruto had been attacked by two men in black cloaks. He killed one of them, and the other one got away. Jiraiya said, "What did the cloaks have on them?" Questioning what was on the cloaks. Naruto saying that it was some black clouds on there. Jiraiya looked in horror, thinking that the Akatsuki had already found Naruto and separated him almost leading to Naruto's capture. Jiraiya was on the other side of town, rushing his way to Naruto when he felt Naruto's aura of destruction spike. But then Jiraiya came to his senses and asked questioningly how he killed one of them, when Naruto said he simply raised all of his destructive energy and put it in one hand and touched the guy with the sword he now has on his back. Naruto then explained how he dealt with Itachi and now how he has Samehada, the shark sword that eats chakra. Jiraiya was mildly impressed. Of course, he was still concerned about the curse mark, because when he got there, half the curse mark was spread across Naruto's face, along with Sasuke's, both of them reacting to each other. Then Jiraiya told Naruto that he should get some rest, and that they were going to continue their journey the next day. We're going to time skip 2 days later. Jiraiya ends up showing off the Rasengan, prompting Naruto to want to learn it. Naruto by now has learned how to suppress his destructive urges. Not a lot, but just enough to feel his emotions again. That doesn't mean he won't have springs of emotionlessness at times. But, as I was saying, Jiraiya shows off the Rasengan, prompting Naruto to want to learn it. And then Naruto goes through his whole training trying to figure out how to use the Rasengan when they meet Tsunade. And the bet is made that if Naruto can master the Egoist form and the Rasengan in just 1 week, she'll give him her cursed necklace. Tsunade, being Naruto's grandmother without knowing it, thought that Naruto was just a brat from the Uzumaki clan that unlocked his Egoist state early. Tsunade, already having unlocked hers, was easily superior to him in every way, shape, and form conceivably possible, because Tsunade has been alive way longer and knows the ins and outs of the Egoist form like the back of her hand. She uses it with her 100 healing seal constantly, considering the fact that she knows she could power up to a point where it start destroying her, but that's why she has the 100 healings. It can destroy her, giving her more power, along with allowing her to heal herself using the 100 ceilings, giving her a plethora of unimaginable power. This is what made Tsunade Senju the strongest Senju alive, because she had a healing factor faster than Hashirama Senju's, meaning she had an unlimited amount of potential for healing. Naruto, in the midst of his training, started and finished mastering the Rasengan, but this time he did it using a clone. That way he could save time on doing it. He wouldn't have to waste a million years trying to form it. He didn't master his Egoist state, so he essentially lost this bet. But he did reach the first level of mastery, meaning he could imbue his jutsu with its destructive properties. So, in a way, he cheated his way to victory. In this way, when Tsunade went to go meet with Orochimaru and the battle ensued, Orochimaru was way more cautious, and when Naruto appeared, he grew a smirk on his face. Looking at Jiraiya and Tsunade, he then told Tsunade he placed a curse mark on Naruto. Then, with the help of Kabuto, Orochimaru activated the curse mark, dampening Naruto's power by an extreme amount. And then the battle ensued. Orochimaru summoning 2 giant snakes, and Tsunade getting right into the battle. Tsunade and her taste for destruction was almost as high as her taste for gambling and sake. She loved destruction almost as much as she loved gambling, which is why when she enters her egoist state, you don't want to know her. Kabuto and Naruto are duking it out while Tsunade and Jiraiya, a drugged Jiraiya, are battling Orochimaru. In this time, during the fight, even though Tsunade has a clear advantage over Jiraiya and Orochimaru already planned for if Tsunade used her egoist state. In which case, he then brought out something. He brought out a scroll that could temporarily stop the egoist state. This scroll is made by the Sage of Six Paths himself, and there was only one in existence. This one shouldn't be wasted, but Orochimaru wouldn't want to have his plans foiled by Tsunade, especially not this early, when he still has the chance to take over Naruto and Sasuke's bodies. So he seals away Tsunade's egoist state. Tsunade being significantly weaker without her egoist state, she falls to the floor collapsing. And then her lustful destruction makes her losing it. She realizes that she's covered in blood, and her trauma ensues. Seeing Kabuto covered in blood and Naruto on the floor with his curse mark fully spread around his body, Tsunade was terrified, screaming, "Stay away from me," when Naruto suddenly stood up. This time, when Kabuto was about to strike Tsunade, Naruto appeared in front of the strike in his egoist state, growing stronger from the attack that hit his forehead. Naruto's headband falling off, Naruto grabbed Samehada and then called on a clone. Naruto summoned a clone and slashed Kabuto with Samehada, cutting him deep as the clone charged up a Rasengan, but then Naruto imbued it with his Hakai, the destructive technique that is usable in the egoist state. Naruto and his Hakai imbued Rasengan, he slashed at Kabuto's scalpel attack and then hit him with the Rasengan, sending him flying back into the same rock he fell back into in canon. This time, Naruto falls to the ground, completely paralyzed. Kabuto, unable to attack him, is laying inside the rock, barely alive. and Tsunade sees that Naruto's dying from a fatal attack by Kabuto. Orochimaru screaming at Kabuto for killing Naruto, or at least that's what he currently thought. Then Samehada and Tsunade both use their chakra along with the Nine Tails, barely contributing. All three of them, with all their chakra combined, heal Naruto. And Naruto opens his eyes slightly and takes the necklace from Tsunade, grabs the necklace, and then passes out. Tsunade wraps her necklace around Naruto's neck. And then she looks at Orochimaru. Jiraiya gets tired, and then he falls on Tsunade. Tsunade catching him and softly kissing his forehead, lays him next to Naruto, and then she activates her Egoist state. Shizune focuses on treating Jiraiya while monitoring Naruto's health. She focuses on those two, while Tsunade gets over her fear of blood and starts striking at Orochimaru devastatingly. All of her strikes causing mass destruction as she brutally attacks Orochimaru with no mercy, and then she uses her 100 healing seal and activates Toad Sage mode, increasing her power exponentially. She's throwing punches that don't need to connect, because just because she missed doesn't mean it didn't hit him. Orochimaru was being badly beaten when Kabuto appears next to him and summons Manda. And as a rebuttal, Tsunade summons Gamabunta and Lady Katsuyu and imbues them both with the power of destruction. And now it's an all-out brawl. This battle waging in this plains has been going on for only 5 minutes, but the amount of destruction that ensued was insane. After the smoke cleared, Orochimaru and Kabuto, on their last legs, stood in front of Tsunade with very visible injuries being quickly healed. And then Orochimaru warns Tsunade that she better destroy that curse mark on Naruto, because if she doesn't, he'll have a new vessel in no time. And this is where we'll end off part 2 of Egoist Naruto. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. With all of that being said, this was Joyful Wish.